Hello everyone. I've decided to kind of start I don't know if it's going to be a series or not, but I wanted to make more of an updated sharing of my journey as a witch. And so you may notice that some of the older videos on Left Hand Path and Witchcraft working, I've taken down off of the site. And that's because my path has grown and really evolved over the last few years, especially. And I want to speak to where I'm at now. And I also want to be able to speak very clearly from my point of view about left hand path, solitary witchcraft, and how I really live that. And this is really inspired by conversations with two people, one of whom is a student of mine, and I want to express my gratitude to him for kind of pushing me to talk about the nuances of my witchcraft, my personal witchcraft practice, and then also a very dear friend of mine who's a very powerful witch. And some conversations with her over the last few months have really opened up my eyes in regards to how I want to talk about witchcraft and what does witchcraft a service and what does not in public life, or kind of what's spoken about popularly. So there's going to be a few videos on this in this series, and so you can expect to see some more videos on this. But I wanted to start by talking about the Eight of Skulls, especially and specifically in Ian's deck, Tarot of Vampires. And the reason why I want to talk about this in this video is because part of my witchcraft involves daily dedication and daily devotion. And this image really does speak to that so beautifully. You see the witch, the magician, really dedicated to his craft. He has his book of shadows open and he's working with all of the elements, and he has an understanding of the importance and value of the time, the energy, the craft that he's putting into his work. And I have noticed, I get asked a lot, how do you understand how to work with the tarot so well? How do you know the meanings of the cards so well? How can you give readings in the way that you do? People will ask me these things all the time. And yet it seems like very few people are actually open to what it takes to really be able to effectively be connected with a spiritual tool like the tarot. And I feel that this really moves over into a discussion about witchcraft as well. I think this is mirrored in witchcraft practices as well. If you want to be at your most powerful, if you want to really feel that you are embodying, right, the goddess or the god or some amalgamation thereof, some union of that thereof within yourself, and if you really want to experience a deep sense of connection to the earth, to the elements, to deity on your path, just like if you really want to be able to read tarot well and understand the structure of tarot, or be able to listen to and understand your psychic or intuitive voice, you have to devote time and energy to the practice of your craft. Hence Eight of Skulls today. Because the number one thing that I have found the most effective in my ability to grow as a reader, as a priestess, and to be able to practice my left-hand solitary witchcraft at a heightened level, an intentional level, and to really be able to embody that on my path has involved time, energy, and devotion. It's involved commitment. You can't do something only when you're freaked out, only when you're in an emergency situation, and expect to experience the intensity of the work. You can't only do a spell when you're in an emergency situation and expect, number one, the spell to work, but also expect you to be able to understand the gravity with which you're interacting with that. So when I talk about my path, it's essential to talk about dedication, devotion, commitment, and loyalty to the path. Every single day of my life, I commune with some facet of deity. I journey with them. I have conversations with them, if not more than one aspect of deity. Every day, I draw a card, I journal. Every day, I sit in front of my altar and I do my work. And this is what's allowed me to sit before you here and be a voice that can speak to this, number one, but also be someone that truly walks the path every single day and that has a depth of experience. I have a deep, powerful, beautiful, magical life and magical experience. And it's because of, I feel, at least mostly, because of the dedication to the craft. I study, I work, and I approach my workings with intention. And I think that this is something that's essential to building a spiritual experience of which you decide what that looks like. Like, you're at the helm of how you want your spiritual experience to feel, and you have to show up for that. So if you want something that truly is devotional, where every day you feel connected to the divine, to great spirit, to whatever you want to call that energy, and where you feel like you can trust and hear your intuition, all of this comes from devotion, dedication, and exploration of your craft. You can't phone it in and expect to have the most beautiful, intense experience, which I am very lucky to be able to say I have deeply powerful spiritual experiences in my life regularly. And I experience support and guidance from non-corporeal beings on my path because I show up. And that's so much of the work. And it's also just good common sense advice, whether it's your spiritual path or a relationship or a friendship or a partnership or a business or a parent-child relationship. You show up and you grow and you experience a depth of connection. If you phone it in and you don't show up, then that thing atrophies. It can't grow. So my number one piece of advice for anyone in regards to following a left-hand path, in regards to solitary witchcraft, and in regards to reading the tarot, is to show up and do the work, the chop wood, carry water part, which is really not always fun. No, it's not always fun to get up at 5:30 in the morning and sit in front of my altar before my son wakes up. No, it's not always fun to sit down and journal about a repeating pattern in my life that I don't want to deal with or look at, that I would rather blame the other person for, right? No, it's not always easy to make time to sit and meditate with Isis, but it's absolutely worth it because I live a full life intentionally. I am able to live it authentically. And now, after some serious personal growth over the last few years, I'm also able to take care of myself authentically in every way because of this work. So the number one piece of advice that I can give for you on your path, whether you are a witch who practices spellcraft or you are a witch who wants to have a deep magical experience on your path, if you want to understand your psychic ability, if you want to be able to read tarot better, all of these things come from dedication, from showing up, from commitment, and from chopping the chop wood, carry the water part of things. And I know it's not always fun. I get that. It doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it'd be more fun to scroll through Instagram, right? Or to be on whatever social media app lets you check out and laugh at cute puppies or whatever, right? But when you dedicate the time for yourself and for your gods, it's going to pay off. It's going to work. It's going to work for you in the long run. And you're going to look back after a period of time and see how much fuller your life is and how authentic you are able to be in the experience of your life. But much like if you take a workshop with me, or if you engage in a mentorship program with me, I will always tell you at the beginning, you're going to get out of this what you put in, because you're in charge. And when you step onto a self-led spiritual path like witchcraft, left-hand path, or a pagan path, you really are in charge of your experience. You don't have someone holding you accountable. You hold yourself accountable. So you get out of the work what you put into the work. And that is my number one tip for anyone who asks me, how do you do it? How can I do it? You know, I want to be able to start my own business reading, and I want it to be successful. The number one thing is to have a daily personal practice, or at least a regular personal practice with the tarot that allows you to feel deeply connected to the tarot, so that in a reading you can decipher, decode, and channel correctly for your client in the way that benefits them the most on their path. So I just wanted to share these thoughts to kind of start this, I guess, revamp of a series on my channel. The next few videos I am going to be talking about spellcrafting from my personal perspective. I'm going to be talking about ritual work. I'm going to be talking about living cyclically, living according to the moon cycles, to the sacred feminine, lining up with that. And I'm going to talk about connecting more deeply with your guides. But this is the foundation of this work, which is you have to show up and do the chop wood, carry water part. If you want to have those ecstatic spiritual experiences, you have to be able to tune into that. And the way that you tune into that is by what you pay attention to. So 8 of Skulls energy as we kind of step into a new space with this series. And I'd like to encourage you to sit with and look at for yourself how you show up for yourself in your spiritual practice. And is there something maybe you'd like to step into a new level of commitment with? So, as always, I am sending you so much love and many blessings. I'll see you in the next video.